It's clear to say that Yves Bissouma's career at Tottenham so far has been a bit hit and a bit miss. When he signed for the club under Antonio Conte's tenure, it was seen as a very good signing for a very good fee from Brighton and Hove Albion. He really impressed at Brighton in his short stay with the club, becoming a metronome of their midfield. He moved to Spurs and, the first season did not go as planned. He didn't really project himself into the side and make himself known. And then when Ange Postecoglou rocked up at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, people believed that Bissouma would refine that form that we all saw at the Seagulls. And we did, towards and at the beginning of last season, he was impressive. He was part of our undefeated run, and in early games against the likes of Manchester United, he really showed what he could do in the Premier League. But obviously injuries followed by suspensions and also going off to AFCON meant that his form fell off a cliff. But this season against Everton so far, he really impressed in the early stages. So with Tottenham really wanting a world-class number 6, I believe that Yves Bissouma could be the key to Tottenham this season in midfield. And if you are new to the Sonny Talk Spurs YouTube channel, why don't you drop a like and subscribe, and also become a member in the link in the description down below. So yeah, I thought Yves Bissouma was probably the man of the match against Everton. We could look at the likes of Cuti Romero scoring a goal, getting a goal on his 100th Premier League appearance, some with a brace as well, and also Mickey van der Ven with his marauding run. I mean, look at this graphic that TalkSport did of how marauding that run was for Son's second goal at the game. But I just want to give some plaudits to Yves Bissouma. I thought he was incredible. I really think after, a suspension for obviously doing something wrong, but coming back and scoring such a screamer of a goal and having some really key stats were beneficial to the team. And if you actually look first of how Spurs set up in that game, I think this is the way that's going to help Bissouma this season if we continue to play like this. Obviously, Ange played a very attacking team in this game. Son through the middle, Odobert on the left, Johnson on the right, Udogie and Porro pushing on, but he had Kulusevski and Maddison in the 8s with Bissouma playing the 6. And what you notice from this graphic as well is how obviously and spreading the centre-backs of Van der Ven and Romero. But Maddison is dropping a little bit deeper to help out Bissouma. And this is a factor that I think will help Bissouma's game because he's got someone helping him in that sort of formation. We are tending to play sometimes a 4-1-4-1, or maybe it's a 4-3-3, or maybe sometimes it's a 4-2-3-1. And what I think Maddison or Assar could do in this Spurs team can really help Bissouma and we saw it in the game, really, didn't we? Having those sort of forward passes, breaking the lines, better in the tackle, more support for the centre-backs. And, is a reason we got our first clean sheet in what feels like an absolute age at the football club. But then again, if you also look at his stats from the game, they were really impressive as well. He played 73 minutes. He got one goal, which, the goal is absolutely outstanding. It's that sort of, when we think of the modern day 6, they've got to do everything, haven't they? They've got to tackle, pass, and occasionally come up with a clutch goal. Rodri's done it for Manchester City in a Champions League final. Declan Rice can do it as well for Arsenal. But, this sort of goal, he's just on the edge of the area waiting for it and absolutely smacks it in the top left, top right corner, whatever side of the goal you were sitting on. When it came to his passes, 73 out of 79 passes completed. Very impressive. 10 passes into the final third. 5 out of 7 accurate long balls. 0 times dispossessed. 2 out of 2 tackles won. 1 clearance. 1 interception. 2 out of 3 ground duels won. 0 fouls committed. And that's what it is. I think with Bissouma as well, the way I see his game is the fact that he is a sort of, he needs that arm round his shoulder from Ange. He needs he's a confidence player. I think that's the term I'm looking for. He needs to be on his top form. He has to be loved. He has to be cherished in this team. And, not many managers would chuck him in after the suspension. And I think Ange Postecoglou's post-match comments on the matter were hilarious. But, he goes on to say, maybe it could have benefited his game.
Bissouma obviously had that ban last week, and we all know why. It's his first goal for the club, which surprises me.
It seemed to work, so I'm going to ban him next week and bring him back the week after, mate. So it seems to do the trick. No, Biss was great today. Not just his goal, he's really disciplined, but discipline's a word I use with him a hell of a lot, and hopefully he gets to the point where he understands how important it is, because we want to see the best of Biss playing for this football club.
So yeah, I believe that this is going to be really vital for Tottenham. Maybe playing this style where, we want a lot of the ball. We need our six to be controlling and really move. And as I say, break down the lines, help the forward line in creating more chances. And I know it's Everton, and people were saying in my last video, maybe I'm being a bit too optimistic and positive. He's got to do it against, or we've got to do it against the likes of Newcastle and Arsenal in the weeks to come. But I think if you keep Bissouma fit, if he's on top of his form and not committing fouls and being silly with his play, I think he is a vital player, because I'd say he is the most competent six at the football club. I look at Benson Core and I'm not sure if he's physical enough, and the rest of our midfield options are more like eights than sixes. Sarr, he's quite a good box to box, but he can't really play as deep. Maddison can play deep, but I don't think he's as good defensively as Bissouma and can't break up the play as well as him. And, people are talking about, our transfers this summer, and maybe we should have gone out for a six. And I tend to agree. Maybe that should have been on the priority list. But the way I see the market at the moment, there's not many players out there. We all say Rodri and Rice, but they're so few and far between. It's impossible to find this player at the moment. And if you do, you're paying hundreds of £1 million, and we just aren't in the market for that, to spend that sort of money. We've already spent 65 million on Dominic Solanke and 40 odd million on Archie Gray. So I believe that Bissouma is the answer to the question. He is already at the club. We've seen it in Ange Postecoglou teams that he can do it. He just needs a run of games to build up his form. And I think this result against Everton, scoring a goal after, what he'd got up to the week before, outside of football, was vital for his game. And this will help the whole side, because I always say, when it comes to Tottenham conceding goals, it's not down to the defence. I think the defence actually have some good numbers. Maybe the Jamie Vardy goal the week before needed to be a bit more regimented from the centre-backs. But our overall game is because our midfield is just ran over with ease. And I like the dynamic of Kulusevski, Bissouma and Maddison. But there is, process for rotation. Sarr can come in and provide some more legs. You've got Bergvall as well, who's tricky on the ball. So I actually think that Tottenham have got some nice options going into midfield. We've got Archie Gray as well. He's comfortable. Could maybe be a six as well if he bulks up a little bit. But I'm actually really confident that Tottenham are going down the right pathway of doing this with Bissouma. I feel like he is the perfect six at the club. He should be playing that position. With Bentancur's injury as well, I know it's a concussion sort of thing, so he probably is going to be back sooner rather than later. But I think Bissouma is going to hold down that position, and I can't see us making any more signings towards the end of the summer. Might be wrong, but I feel like, as we approach deadline day, at the end of the week, I feel like Bissouma is going to be that starting position. But it's good to see that, there was more sort of, Kulusevski was able to be in that 10 and sort of was freed up by it. And it meant that Odebear on the left sort of was a bit more tricky. But there are more question marks over Brennan Johnson, which is actually the next video on the channel. So you might as well leave a like on the video, subscribe to Sonny Talk Spurs, and hit the notification bell, and that will let you know when I've gone live. And also become a member, link in the description down below. Podcast coming this week about my time at the Euros in Germany, which I'm very much looking forward to. But until then, I'll see you guys later. Let me know what you think of Bissouma. Do you rate him as R6? Do you think we could do better? What did you make of his performance against Everton? I'd love to know all your opinions in the comments down below, because, I love a good chat down there. You've seen me reply to them all the time. I want a good debate. That's what it is. So until next time, I'll see you guys later. Come on, you Spurs, and ciao.